What's up, everybody? Underestimated here. Today we're doing something a little different. We're traveling down to Casino de Lac Limy, just on the other side of Ottawa here in Ontario, and we're going to be playing some live 1-2 and 2-5 cash. So let's make our way there, and we'll see you. Okay, so we made it to the casino. Just making our way in here now. So we're going to sit down. Hopefully, we got our name on the waiting list, and we'll see how things go. Okay, so the first hand I want to talk about, we had King 7 in the big blind. Under the gun limped, cut off over limped, and we checked in the big blind. And we go ahead and we take a flop three-way. So on that flop, we check, under the gun bets four big blinds. We call, sorry, the cutoff calls. We check raise to 20 big blinds. Under the gun folds, and the cutoff goes ahead and makes the call. Um, and obviously we flop two pair, which is a pretty good hand. On the turn, the jack of clubs hits. Um, Pretty good card for us. Some draws are going to continue now, like a hand like King 10, 7 10, Queen 10. They'll all continue. Maybe a hand like a suited 7 Jack or a Queen Jack type hand. Obviously, King Jack we're losing to, but I don't think that gets limped very often. Over limped, I should say. So we, of course, are going to continue barreling, and we bet out 40 bigs. And he goes ahead and he does make the call on the turn. The river comes a complete brick, so pretty straightforward here. We have two pair. We're gonna have a lot of hands, so we go ahead and make another value bet for 60 big blinds, and villain goes ahead and again it makes the call. Um, and Unfortunately, he rolls over a 9-10 offsuit. Um, Managed to turn the low end of his gut shot that he called the check raise with. And unfortunately, that's our first big pot of the day, and it does not go our way. But that's okay. We have a long session ahead of us, and we keep grinding. Okay, so we rebought in for 200 bucks. Stacked with the two pair King 7. Few circulations have gone by. We managed to build our stack up to just under 300 bigs. We pick an eighth queen off on the button. Under the gun player opens to eight big blinds, middle position calls, and we go ahead and three bet our ace queen to 30 big blinds, and both players in the blinds fold. Under the gun calls, and the position player also calls. So we hit a flop. Obviously, fantastic for us. Amazing. We pick up flop two pair in this three-handed pot. Um, Being in position, also fantastic. Pot's already almost 100 big blinds. Then the player in the under the gun position that's into us for 30 bigs. Amazing situation. Middle position player also calls. At which point we have a decision to make. We can either call and slow play our ace queen. Um, as most people know, uh, live players love to chase and they love to call. So in the end, we actually elect to raise the pot. Uh, Not overly big, given the size of the pot, but we put in 100 big blind re-raise. And a little bit of thinking, the under the gun player actually shoves into us. fantastic. We have top two pair. We know that this player can have a flush draw. We know that they could have a hand like six. They could also have a suited queen six potentially. It's live. Where people love their suited hands, and they do just you know. So very great spot. It turns over to the middle position player who does go into the tank for quite a while. Uh, Ends up folding his hand, and cards get flipped over. We are at this point very excited. Unfortunately, boom, pocket sixes. So we are in a very, very bad spot here in an extremely large pot. He had us covered. So there's 613 big blinds in this one pot alone where we flop. Top two pair we possibly have, and we run into the unfortunate set, the three bet pot. Uh, Not a great spot for us to be in. So we are praying for an ace or a queen at this point and try to collect this big, big pot in. Unfortunately, the turn is a seven of diamonds, not giving us any outs. At which point, the middle position player who folded actually comes down and says he had ace seven. Uh, Not sure what he was tanking with. Potentially ace seven of clubs, maybe. Um, and yeah, so it wouldn't have changed anything. So no luck on the turn, and then the river comes. Um, and it is a nine of clubs. So unfortunately, we lost a huge, huge pot here. Okay, so the next hand we pick up is ace six of spades in the cutoff. Um, Pretty good hand in late position. So we're obviously looking to play here. Um, Small blind, big blind post, and under the gun plus one player limps in, and the middle position player limps as well. Folds around to us after that, and we decide to raise here to eight big blinds and small blind, big blind fold, under the gun plus one calls, and off calls. We definitely argue going bigger there on the flop. Um, but given the way a lot of these people play, they're never really folding, so being pretty deep, it's nice to kind of isolate, make sure the blinds get out, and also we can kind of build a little bit of flop, pre-flop, and get well, flop well, and we're in position. So all of those things are going to help. So, okay, so the flop comes out. It is three of spades, four of spades, and five of hearts. Fantastic for us. We have a straight draw, an overcard, and the flush draw, as well as a backdoor straight flush draw. So nothing to complain about here. Um, on the flop, it goes under the gun plus one checks, middle position checks, and we put out a bet of 20 big blinds, to which the under the gun player decides to call, and the player in the cutoff goes ahead and lays it down. So then the turn comes, it's the 10 of diamonds, bit of a good card for us. Um, we don't get anywhere, we don't hit anything. So the under the gun player again, she checks to us. Bit of a recreational player, but at least that's kind of the read I'm getting. It definitely seems to know what she's doing. She was talking about how she just got back from Vegas and was playing some cash down on the World Series of Poker and all this stuff. So obviously has some sort of knowledge of the game, but not a full stack. And just really didn't seem like any kind of solid regular by any means. So anyway, she checks to us, and at this point, we obviously have a decision to make. We can either continue barreling, with all the equity that we do have, and perhaps that's the correct play. I'm not really sure, to be honest. At this point, I think you can either bet or check. I don't think either is all that bad. And what I like to do is check behind, and the reason for that being is because the board is so wet and connected. The fact that they limp called pre-flop, they can definitely have a lot of pocket threes, pocket fours, pocket fives. They could have ace two suited. They could have a hand like six, seven. They could have a hand like five, six, and or even potentially three, four, four, five. Those kinds of things. Obviously, she could have slow played like pocket aces, pocket kings, queens, stuff like that as well. Um, that is not out of the realm of possibilities. Again, we decide to check behind and try to realize our equity on the river versus barreling again here and potentially getting shoved on all those hands that we just listed. So we do that. Flop comes out. Absolutely fantastic for us. It's the seven of spades. Amazing. We have the nuts here. And so obviously we have the six of spades blocker. So the underdog player again decides to underdog plus one, sorry, decides to check to us. The pot's now 67 big blinds, and we decide to obviously value bet. Contemplated just shoving here, decided against it for just a large value bet, and we barreled out 50 big blinds. And luckily for us, she makes the call and has a pair of sevens. So we pick up ace king offsuit in the cutoff. I played maybe five or six smaller hands before this. We lost some chips. Stacks back down to 260 big blinds. And then this hand comes around in the cutoff. Small blind, big blind post, under the gun straddles, under the gun plus one also straddles. So the pot's already at 18 bigs. And it folds around to middle position, who makes free bet to, I think it was 45 big blinds. And then, which is a great spot for us. We love seeing that with ace king in the cutoff. It folds around to us. And we decide to three bet, of course. There's a lot of hands, obviously, that could be in this guy's range. Ace queens, suited broadways, suited aces, decent pocket pairs, even some suited connectors, stuff like this. In a live game, people love to get splashy, and especially in games like this, where some older guys at the table and nobody's really playing all that aggressively. So this was a younger guy. Seemed like he knew what he was doing. Obviously, we expect he can have a pretty wide range here. He's going to be stealing those straddles a lot of the time here. A lot of dead money in the pot. Anyways, he raises. We of course three bet for value with ace king. Um, to I think it was 130 big blinds. We made it, which was a little bit of an overbet. But again, with the types of players that are in these games, I really expect him to fall with worse, shove with worse. Who knows what the straddles are going to do? They could have a hand like tens, jacks, ace jack, ace queen, anything along those lines, and just decide to stick it in as well with all the dead money out there and gamble, right? People love gambling in these live games. Unfortunately, it does fold around to him. He chips it in. We, of course, snap call with ace king. Expect to be in a really good spot. Unfortunately, that was not the case, and he rolled over the pocket aces, putting us in absolutely terrible shape. Flop comes out, king six five, about as good as you could hope for to give us some equity in this hand. And the turn comes out not favorable to us. Unfortunately, it's the queen of clubs. We are praying for that river bank one time for the king. Fortunately, does not hit. Six of hearts, and we lose another big one. That was essentially our final hand of the day. Things weren't really going our way. I thought we were playing pretty well still, but at this point, we'd lost so many big hands. Um, we actually decided to put it in, and that's the end of the day. Good long session though. We were there for 10 hours or so grinding it out. Thought we played really well compared to the competition. Unfortunately, as poker is, things just didn't really go our way. And that was it. But it was a great experience. Definitely planning to go back to do it again. Definitely planning to play some more live games and some tournaments. Well, that didn't go quite as planned, but we're back home now, relaxing. Got our hot tub, got a drink. We're just gonna hang out, maybe do a little bit of studying, and then head back to the online tables and grind up some NL100.
So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. First sort of live vlog, live tables. Definitely a little bit different for me, a little bit awkward pulling the camera out all over the place, but what do you do? So again, yeah, please leave a like and comment down below, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys soon at the NL100 tables online.